and then also just kind of planning for the future for that infrastructure. Our priority initiatives for this is threefold. One is supporting community infrastructure readiness. 2 is coordinating infrastructure planning countywide. And then 3 is educating the public on infrastructure needs and progress. And we'll do that on our own. But I reached out to Maurice a couple of weeks ago as I was starting to get these on the calendar, and he wanted to be sure to run it past you all for that. What we've been doing is meeting with the city administrator and city public works with the county administrator, county public works, but it can be whoever you'd like to be there. Just kind of talking through what the projects they each have going on. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. So would you be willing to allow Maurice to come to that once or twice a year? Yeah. Would you like to add
the only reason I threw that in there is years ago, not this group of commissioners, but other groups of commissioners didn't want city employees going to county meetings and quote unquote speaking on behalf of the city. And then they'll see something in the newspaper or something like that. And I just, it's not necessarily a good situation. But that's why I threw it in there. So I don't care either way.
It's not a decision-making body, though, right? It's just sharing information.
We're literally eating sack lunches from Friendship House and talking about projects. It's not an open meeting. There are no reporters. Nobody's bound to anything. Really what it comes down to is there are some cities, for instance, that utilize the county for like rock salt purchasing and storage because it's cheaper to buy it in bulk through the county than each individual city. So that's just one tiny example of that. Another might be, if there's a street that is technically in the county, but the city does something with it, there's some back and forth. Another example that I think is kind of interesting is in Wamego, the city owns the senior center parking lot, but the county owns the building. So they talk, they have conversations periodically as things come up, but it seems like there could be some opportunities for collaboration and even just kind of strategic planning, thinking ahead for things that come up. Is anyone opposed to that taking place?
Go ahead, Hi, Shannon.
Hi.
Do you know in advance, how far in advance do you know when?
Yes, I can give you a date now. I'm looking at July 8th, August 12th, or September 9th.
Okay. So, first of all, I think it's a great idea. And I think there's a lot of experience in the county, experience in the city, sitting down, being able to even go over suppliers of various equipment, materials. There's a lot to be gained from it. So I appreciate that. I think it's a good idea. So as I'm listening to you kind of describe what your intention is with the meeting, and then looking at the various city projects, and sometimes the city is just, there's a lot of projects that roll through year after year, and so one idea is that it may be different people from the city coming up based on the idea or based on the need at that time or the projects at that time. I mean, is that something where you're open to maybe Bob in charge of streets, Don in charge of utilities, Maurice, like sometimes the city commissioner has a specific thing they're looking for, kind of maybe even broaden it out a little bit?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. What the county has agreed to is every month they will show up, and I'll have individual cities come in, and so I can pencil in 2 dates for 2025, 2026, we're in 2026 now. But I think whatever makes the most sense for you all, and whoever makes the most sense, sounds like a good idea.
Good.
I might just need to communicate or coordinate through Maurice.
Yeah, it might seem, what I think might be helpful is, we know a month in advance and we throw it on the agenda and talk through what would we like to talk with the county about and see if there's any input from the the commission and then deciding if anybody wants to go as the time opening on their schedule. And then I think it's a good enough event that we add it to the agenda, talk through it, and
Okay.
maybe even come a little bit more prepared with. So,
Yeah, that sounds great.
and then we can probably send you a list of if there are multiple people wanting to go.
Okay, yeah, that sounds great. And I can repeat those dates. It's July 8th, August 12th, and September 9th. Those are Mondays at noon. I think it's the second, no, I'm sorry, Wednesdays, the second Wednesday. I put it on a regular rotation so that the